everybody, it is Matthew of Mr. Domestic, where we spread joy and positivity through sewing and fabric play. In this video, I am going to show y'all how to make the houndstooth block. As you can see, the full quilt behind me. I will show you how to make one block, which is 9 different squares. And I went with these right here. This is 2.5 inches wide. Since people are like loving on their jelly rolls, I figured that was a good size. Because you never know, you might have some jelly rolls that you want to cut into. Didn't know what the project would be. Well, here you go. And then you will need here 4, what size? 6-inch squares of one solid, and then 1 6-inch square of another solid. And essentially it's going to be, can you see? Can you see? Where is it? Here? Here? This one. So dunk, 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 dunk. It's going to be one of those, and I'm going to make it into a complimentary pillow of my quilt. So if that is what you are here to learn, then before we get into the content, anytime you're enjoying this video, make sure to give it the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now let's get ready to have some fun together. So this video, I'm going to show you some of the sewing really, but I'm really just going to show you how simple it is with the construction here. So we have these set up. This is going to be the center. These are going to be this right here. And then you'll take these to make the 4 lines. And this is going to be a twofer in this video. One, I'm going to show you how to make an easy string block. And that's when you just remove these. And then from that, you can make the houndstooth. So let's get going. I have 2 of this color and then 2 of this color. Since in the quilt, like right here, it was, the dark just seems to pop out more to me than the light. So I wanted to do the inverse and have the light houndstooth be the center, which is why I have 4 squares of this. And then I have 2 with the fabric, 2.5-inch strips of this. So now what I'm going to do is sew 1 pair and then another pair using a 1/4 inch, or if you have a 1/4 inch foot, then go for it. Mine's in the shop with Felicia. I'm working with Tim Gunn right now, so I'm gonna estimate it. Just make sure you estimate it the same way the whole time. Then you need a ruler with a 45-degree angle on it, and then a handy-dandy rotary cutter. Now let's go over to Tim Gunn and get some sewing on. So I am over to Tim. Everyone say hi, Tim Gunn. How you doing? That's my settings right there. Just whatever the factory setting is. I didn't mess with it. And I have 2 alternate colors. If you're doing this with a pattern, then they need to be right sides together. And I'm going to estimate a 1/4 inch since I don't have my 1/4 inch foot. And basically, I just find a spot on here and I eyeball it. And as long as it's always the same, then you're good to go. And I am going to stitch the full length of one of these, and then the second pair I'll do the same thing. And I'll do that in fast forward. But before I do, just wanted to educate you on where I am in understanding thread. Like I have Aurifil White, which is my go-to when piecing for quilting. It's a cotton 50 weight. And then in the bobbin, I have Wonderfil Deco Bob, which is a poly thread. The bobbin, it's really thin, won't impact tension, and I know it won't break. But when piecing, especially with a cotton fabric, I'm using a cotton thread for 2 reasons. One, it's breathable, it will wear the same rate as the quilt and just look really cute together. And then second, if for any reason this gets pulled, then the thread will pop before the fabric will tear, and you need that whenever piecing. So that is tip for thread. Now fast forward, ta-da! Now I have been to my ironing board and back, and I have butterflied my seams. Yes, I'm calling them butterflied, hashtag butterflied seams, because that's what I called them for the longest time when you press them open, because you butterfly them like a chicken. So I butterflied both sets, and now I'm going to take the 2 pair, and I'm going to sew up the alternating. So see how they're like this, right sides together. And I'm gonna sew them together with a 1/4" seam going up both sides. And I'll get you started like this. And this seam should fall in the center. If it doesn't, or if it's a little wacky, it's totally fine. Just make sure that these are flat. This being flat is more important than the seams evenly matching up. Now I'll fast forward. Okay, so now I have gone up both lengths of the raw edges, and these are alternating seam. And now we're going to cut. And this is where, if you wanted to use different width strips, this is when you would determine what the size of this is going to be. So let's pretend like we don't know this is 6 inches yet. And then I'm just going to line up this 45° right here. And I'm doing it on the stitch line. Doesn't really matter because we're going to trim to size. And then I just do that. And now we've got one of those. And I just want to show you something here. Like this stitch, I'm leaving in because it opens up super duper easy and it gives you a little bit more of a square. And so instead of doing this size, since I'm confident in my 45 degrees, I'm going to put another 45° here. And I extend it a little bit further just to make sure that it maximizes this triangle. And this creates another one, and then here. And for this block of 9 squares, you only need 4 of these. So that is what I need for here. But if you're going to make a full quilt, I'm going to continue just so that we know how many this will make. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. Okay. Looks like it's going to make 9. 8, 9. So the 4 with the fabric strips that were 2.5 inch make 9 of these. So yay! Now I'm going to take this over and I'm going to butterfly these seams again on 4 of them and then bring them back over. And then we'll measure them to see what size solid squares we need to cut out because we're pretending like we don't know. Okay, so now we have the 4 with all the butterflied seams. And now let's see how big this square is. And how you do that, you'll take this 45° line here. And then wait until you see a full square. Here, see, it's right on that line here. And as you can see, wow, it's almost a perfect 6-inch square. And this is where it's totally fine if they're not perfect. Like, see right here how I'm missing some of it? It's totally fine because I'm going to line these up perfectly with the solid squares, and it's going to be cool. And then I just flip this because this side is even. And now this one will match up perfectly. See how I matched up this and this? And then I'll just cut this and this here. And now I have a squared up one of these. And so I'm going to square up the other 4 and then arrange it. Fast forward. Okay, so now I have these 4 squared up, and this is where I wanted to give you a twofer. So with this is like the backbone of a string block, depending on how you wanted to do, and it's just whenever you're working with diagonal strips. If you wanted to, ta-da, you could go to town with this and make a string block quilt and just like cut out the solid squares. But now that we know that these are 6 inches and this is like the houndstooth block video, let's turn it into a houndstooth. So I know that I want the center to be the lighter color here, and then these go right here. And when you're constructing this as a quilt, FYI, you're going to alternate between one color, next color, one color, next color, and then it's just going to be this one and then one of these in repetition. So it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 once we figure out the way that it goes. And it goes this way, like this, And then this one goes like this. See how this went the opposite of this in this row? And so this one is like this already. So we know this is gonna go here. And then, boom, see this one like this? It's always the same when you're going this way. And then boom, shake, shake, shake the room. We have a houndstooth. And so now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna stitch this row, and then this row. And then I will show you the preparation. Not gonna show you the stitching of sewing these. I'll show you the preparation of spinning the seams, and then I'll spin the seams with you as a bonus. Okay, so I've stitched the rows together, and I did it using chain piecing like fancy, and if I did it the right way, then it should work out. Ta-da! Ta-da! I have a video on chain piecing if you haven't seen it. I don't show the next level stuff, but if you keep chain piecing, like you can connect them. It's super cool, and it makes it easier to do this next step. So this is all like good to go. I have my ironing mat right here. I'm going to flip this over, and what spinning the seams does, and I have a video on that also, is it makes this, one, a more secure seam with each of these blocks, and two, it makes it flatter, and I'll show you what I'm going to do here. So I have enough right here. It makes it easier that they're all connected like this. So you want it to rotate the seams. So I have my iron. This one, I'm going to prep it, this one going that way, and this seam I'm going to push this way. And then this one, I'm going to prep it this way, and prep it this way, like that. And then this one, I'm going to go ahead and see, this one's going this way, so this one is going to go this way. Like this, and like this. And this is meant as like a refresher for people who have already seen the video. If you're like, what is this? This is witchcraft, I don't understand it, then go and watch the Spinning the Seams video, and I'll link a card here. And now I'm going to grab this like this. And this is where the chain piecing really helps. I have this, it's a precision piecing product, seam align glue. It's like natural, and it's awesome, and it's water soluble. It washes out, so it's great. And I just put this like right here on these seams, right there. And hopefully you can see that. I'm just putting a dollop, not a dollop, like a little pin there. And it's going to be on the inside of the 1/4 inch seam that I'm going to do. And then you can feel it. Like you can feel, let me get close here. Whenever you go like this, you can feel when they nestle in. And that's where the seams are perfect and fitting. And I'll take my iron. I'm going to heat set that. This one. And then this one, it all depends on like how well I sewed. But then you're going to do the same thing here. And you're just going to feel that fold and that fold fit in to each other. And once you've learned to spin the seams and you do it more often, you don't even have to like baste. You can just feel it as you go. That's what I do most of the time. So this one is prepped and ready to go. And now I'm going to prep this one also. Then I'll just do it again so you can see. See, I'll take this. And any water-soluble glue is good. You could also alternatively like pin or clip at these intersections. It's just these are the most critical intersections and pieces that I found to make sure they're aligned. And the rest you can adjust. Like let's say one is shorter than the other. You can like pull on it a little. And as long as these match up, no one will know the difference. And then, there I did it again. Yeah, I'll have to do it a little bit here. And I'm going to show you stitching these up. So I'm going over to Tim Gun, and then I'll show you stitching these together. I have these, and these seams are good because I glue basted it. And what I do is I will line this up with my fingers, and I will just get started sewing here at an estimated 1/4 inch. I'm using the same marker. And then even though this is glued, I will finger press it here. And then I'm going to pull on it just a little bit. I'm pulling this way just to make sure that all of this is flat when it goes through. And that's just in case like these are different. Like here, I don't think this is perfect. Like one is, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm grabbing onto this, even though it's glue basted, and I just tug ever so slightly to where it is more taut than natural, and then any differential there is gone, and you won't be able to tell whenever you iron it. So this is one. Okay, one is done. Ta da ta da ta da ta da ta da. And now we're on to the next one, and it's the same thing. I'm gonna line up those edges, get these started, and then I'm gonna grab onto this. And generally, my squares aren't this close together. Like, done. One, I think it's because of the what's that called? The chain piecing. And then two, it's because I know I was being videoed. I was extra careful. There we go. And then line this up, pull on it, and we are good to go. And then one final step after this, I'm going to take you over to the ironing vat, spin the seams, and then you have got yourself a handy dandy houndstooth block. So, yay, look at this on my ironing mat. And we're going to finish spinning the seams. These alternate, and what we want to do is create this kind of motion. So it's going to be spinning. And take my iron, and I'm not trying to make like the perfect, most beautiful spinning of the seams for you. I just want you to get the gist of it. And this is like real how I do it. And then I just push this down. Sometimes it opens perfect, and if that happens, that's your opportunity to take a picture of the back and put it on Instagram. But mine most of the time don't look like that. See how this one is going this way, this one's going this way. Let's make this pretty right here. And then this one's going that way, this one's going that way. And so we're going to go like this. And once again, if this is like too fast or you're like, what is this? Then I have a video on this whole process. And then these are spun seams. They're not spun seams on fleek, but they will work nonetheless. And then we just take this, iron, high steam, high heat, press this, and this makes this point super flat, and the overall seam is super durable. I'm putting some muscle on it. Then remove this, and then boom, 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 boom. Now you know how to make your own houndstooth block. This by itself is going to be like a super awesome, like legit pillow. Like boom, look at that, and then look at it with this quilt. Like they look cute together. And you can make this, or if you wanted to, like intersplice some string blocks, you could do that. But overall, you have learned a new way to do a symbol block that is next level extra, next level easy. So if you enjoyed this video, got a tip or a trick or a laugh or two, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Keep it positive, y'all. Mr. Domestic out.